We in here? Hello. We are in here. Checking. Hello. Make my post. It's kind of a gloomy day. What's up, Jake? It's going pretty well for me so far. It's a very wet and gloomy day here in Birmingham, which kind of bums me out. I hate when it's all rainy. But we in here. Welcome to the weekly live stream. Back again on another live stream Sunday. My computer fan's going nuts right now. I'm not sure why. It's sunny where you live in California. Imagine that. It's sunny in California. Who would have thought? What's up, Chris George? Where's everybody else from? We have someone from California. Where's everybody else from? Ireland. This feels kind of like a weird day today. I'm not sure why. Probably just because of how gloomy it is outside. Like, it is currently 1 p.m., but it looks like it's like 6 p.m. outside. Like, the sun is nowhere to be found. And it's just gray sky and wet everywhere. Nova Scotia, Ontario, Czechia. Is that how you say that? Massachusetts. I hate when it's rainy. It makes me just not want to leave my house, but I have some stuff to do later, so actually I'm probably going to go work out immediately after I finish streaming. It's always interesting how many non-Americans show up to the streams. Like, I never expect it, but it always happens. Gloomy and rainy in Delaware. Well, I guess California is the only place that gets to party today. And I guess Canada. Or at least Ontario. Yeah, a lot of people say that rainy weather helps them sleep, but it doesn't have that effect on me. It just kind of makes me anxious. Leg day? Every day's leg day. Not every day, but every workout day For me, at least, I do squats every time I work out, and I alternate between chest and back, but always squats. Sunny in central Mexico and shorts weather in New Mexico. Awesome. I hate doing squats, but I like doing squats. Like they're really like not fun to do, but it's awesome when you see the results. And I see the results in my legs more than other places. I think just because I don't know. I don't really know why actually. Royal Rumble starts at 1 a.m. in your time zone. Yeah, it's got to be weird to be a fan of WWE if you aren't American. I may not even be able to catch it. I might have to watch the replay because I might be out. What's up, Legendary Productions? What's my workout routine? Basically, there's like an A day and a B day. An A day is squats, bench press, deadlift. And B day is squats, overhead press, and deadlift or pull-ups. Wait, no. B day is squats, overhead press, and bent over rows or pull-ups if we can. And then just kind of we just throw in other stuff as we feel like it, like curls and other dumbbell exercises. Hello, Tara. Is that how you say that? I never have confirmed that how you say that. Do you listen to stuff while working out? Not really. I work out with friends, so we usually just keep each other entertained. I don't work out like alone. If I worked out by myself, I would probably listen to music or something or podcast or something. But I work out with my brother and a friend. What's up, Joseph? Tara, okay. Yeah, I know a couple people named Tara, and one of them pronounces it Tara, and another pronounces it Tara. But I just see the name a lot, and I just never have heard it said or had you tell me how it's said. So it's good to have that confirmed. Yeah, it would be weird if it was pronounced Tira, but I guess you could do that if you wanted to. How do you feel about the majority of the nominees for the Grammys being Black African American? Is that true? I haven't paid attention. I don't guess I have much of an opinion on that. I think award shows are like mostly dumb, like overall mostly dumb. So it's just hard for me to take anything they do seriously. I like the actual like meaningful like honorary awards or like lifetime achievement awards. I think those actually mean something because they're like actually honoring someone who did something. But the other awards, I think it's just like all politics and based off like almost like a popularity contest, but also like politics and things like that. So Have I been enjoying Dragon Ball Fighter Z? I have. It's really cool. I'm slowly starting to understand it. I actually might play it. I might stream some of it on Twitch later today, later this evening. Your angry sack of napkins is your new cozy jammies top. Awesome. Am I enjoying Dragon Ball Super? I have not really watched much of Dragon Ball Super. I should probably watch it. I'm actually interested in this story, so I should probably watch it. But it's not really anything against the show. I just don't watch shows really that much at all. Are the Oscars meaningful to you? I mean, not really. It's just the same. It's all the same. The Oscars are clearly like, it's not, none of the award shows are clearly a just objective competition between films. Like there's always some sort of politics behind it, and there's always a bias towards certain types of media. Like the Oscars, for example, is super biased towards dramatic movies, towards drama movies. And depending on the year, like one year they may be biased towards like war movies, and another year they may be biased towards like romance. But like, for example, it will be really hard for a comedy to win Best Picture, even if it's like an amazing movie. Like there's a few like really good comedies, but they just almost don't have a chance of winning Best Picture. And I'm not saying that they nominate bad movies, but I think a lot of things get left out just because they're sort of biased towards certain things, and that's fine. I just don't really take it seriously. Like I don't think it's bad that the award shows exist. I just don't take them that seriously. What do you think of Taco Bell selling fries? That's fine. I actually had them the other day. They're pretty good. I mean, it's just literally just regular fries with like nacho seasoning on it. That's like all it is, but it's pretty good. I just think that, and the thing is, a lot of movies are made specifically with the intention of getting an Oscar nomination. So the fact that you can even do that kind of shows that they're biased towards certain things. Because if it was just an objective competition, then any really good movie should be considered, you know? But I will agree that most of the movies that get nominated are usually pretty good. I'll give you that. But they're all from just like one sort of genre, and they're all like really safe movies. Like rarely is it anything that's like trying something new, you know, things like that. Sometimes I think more in the Oscars, the most interesting categories are like sort of like, you know, best wardrobe, best effects, best cinematography. Like those are like more interesting to me than like best actress and best picture. Yeah, like it would be really hard for an action movie to win best picture. As far as this past year go, I don't even know if I saw any movies this past year. Let me see what movies Let me look up the movies that came out in 2017. Let's see if I saw any of them. I've just been sort of. I wanted to go see more movies this year, but this past year I've just been doing nothing. I saw Wonder Woman. And I saw Spider-Man. Yeah, I usually just watch the superhero movies. Yeah, I haven't seen any of these movies. I went to the movies maybe 4 or 5 times in 2017. How much can I bench, squat, deadlift? Not a lot. Pretty weak. And also I took a break from lifting. I took maybe a 1.5 month break, and when I went back the other day I was just super weak. So I started off light, and also I never max out, so I don't really know what my max is. I just don't ever try it because I'm not trying to break my back. But I was doing 3 sets of 10 reps of I don't know, 140 squats or something. But yeah, I'm not strong or anything. I'm not super strong. I am exactly why they're making so many superhero movies, because I'm super into it. Do I like romance movies? I like them if they're good. How tall am I? 6 foot even. Did I end up checking out Akala? I did not. I haven't checked it out yet. And I'm gonna go see Black Panther for sure. What's up, Luke? Am I gonna watch the Super Bowl? Yeah. I don't really care who wins the Super Bowl, but it's just a thing. It's just another reason to go and drink beers with my friends. I'm probably just gonna root against the Patriots because my friend is a big Patriots fan, and I'm just gonna do it just to antagonize him. I don't really follow NFL that much. I always say that I'm gonna start following NFL more, but then I never do. But I need more things. It's interesting because a lot of people, I feel like most people are like, I need more. I need to be more social. I need to just work and be social and live, have a life. But I'm like, I need to be less social and find more things, more hobbies, and more things to do when I'm alone. So it's like I'm playing more video games, and I want to go to more movies. And I think it's just because of the nature of my job. I have so much free time. I mean, I could work more, but I have a lot of free time, and I'm like super extroverted, so I like go out and be social a lot, but I kind of do it too much. Who's my favorite superhero? Probably Daredevil, but it kind of switches depending on the last depiction that I saw that was awesome. Like after Avengers came out, I was like really into Thor. But of all time, like since I was a kid, probably Daredevil. He's just a really compelling character with a really cool story. Uh yeah, I have no intention of going to see Black Panther on opening night. That just seems like a bad idea. I'll probably go sometime like the next week or something. Don't know any studies or sources to refer to when your conservative friends say there are only two genders. I don't know any like offhand right now, but it's like really it's like easily findable in Google. Just Google, just take like 30 minutes, Google, you know, like the thing is how many genders are there is like not it's a bad question, but I guess you could Google how many genders there are. Is gender a spectrum? What does science say about gender? Just stuff like that. And then you'll find articles, and the articles you may even find like actual studies, but the articles should link to sources, to medical journals, to science journals, or to actual research studies. So sometimes you guys do some work, or if you want, you can email me later, and I can look it up for you. But it shouldn't be that hard to find. Have I ever been in a physical fight? Uh, I've been in fights with my brothers all the time. Well, not now, but like when I was growing up. I didn't really get into fights with other people that much though, or pretty much ever. I've historically been pretty good at getting people to not dislike me enough to want to fight me. The Daredevil Netflix series is quite good. It's like one of the best TV shows. It's like one of the best shows I've ever seen, to be honest. It's so good. It kind of I like forgot what a good show was before I saw that. I was like, "Oh shit, they can make stuff this good." Well, I watch animated movies sometimes. I've seen most of the DC animated movies, not all of them though. Have I ever gone downhill skiing? No. That sounds terrifying. Any thoughts on that current affairs piece on Shapiro? Is that the one that was linked to me in Twitter the other day? If it's that one, then yeah, it's pretty compelling. It's pretty good. If you watch animated movies, I really recommend Mutafukas. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything much to say about that article except I pretty much agree. Like, it was pretty spot on. I've always like I've never gotten the whole Ben Shapiro thing, because so many people, even people that sort of generally agree with me on things, are like, yeah, I know that a lot of these conservatives on TV are just clowns, but you gotta check out Ben Shapiro. You have to admit, he's pretty reasonable, smart person, and I just don't get it. Like he's literally full of shit. Like he doesn't say anything like reasonable ever. Like I mean, maybe sometimes, but he's just articulate. I think people confuse eloquence with intelligence, or eloquence with reason. I think that's how a lot of people felt for Milo Yiannopoulos too. He's just an absurd person, but he's just smart. He's just like good at talking. Any conservative voices channels that you think are worth watching? That's hard to answer, because I think that conservatism is just inherently flawed. Like I don't think it's possible. I think it's inherently irrational. There are conservatives who like are nice, and there are people that I think probably honestly believe what they believe and mean no harm. I don't know about on YouTube. And then there's other types of conservatives, like for example, conservative libertarianism. Um, and so if you take someone like Penn Jillette, who's a hardcore libertarian, but also seems to be a very decent, intelligent person. Like what's that guy on? Is he still on Fox News? Chris Matthews, I think. Like he's a conservative, but he seems like a decent person. Not Chris Matthews. That's the MSNBC guy. What's the guy from Fox? Chris Wallace, I think. Yeah, Chris Wallace. That's what I'm thinking of. Like I disagree with his views on things, but he seems like a decent person. Do you think it's likely that Trump gets reelected in 2020? I don't think it's likely. Trump is among one of the most disliked presidents of all time. You want to be black? No, you don't. I guarantee it. I feel like liberals are held to a much higher standard than conservatives on a lot of things. Ben Shapiro says he believes in man-made climate change, and he gets a pass on everything else. Yeah, I think that's part of it. Is if you have a conservative that acknowledges like the basic truths that a lot of other conservatives don't acknowledge, then they sort of like, oh, see, they're reasonable. Even though Ben Shapiro's, he's loose with the facts. Who's gonna win the Royal Rumble? I have no idea. Honestly, I've not been keeping up with WWE for real. But when it comes to conservatism, I would never like show a conservative and be like, you know what, this person is on point, because I don't think conservatism is on point. Is it conservatism or conservatism? It's probably conservatism, right? You can say whatever you want. You just have to deal with the consequences of saying it. There's no rule book in the sky that says that you can or can't say certain words. You just have to understand the consequences of saying them. Have you heard about the malware placed in some YouTube ads to use viewers' computer power to mine cryptocurrencies. I saw a headline about that. I didn't read the article though. Generally, the chat, my chat is democratic. So if most people want a person to be kicked from the chat, then we'll do it. Did you hear about how insanely expensive PC hardware has gotten because of cryptocurrency miner? I didn't hear about that specifically, but I don't doubt it. But it seems like mining cryptocurrency is like hardly worth it anymore. Like, seems like you have to have massive power, like to the extent that only someone with a vast amount of resources could even make it happen and make it profitable. I wonder how many of these people doing like mining crypto are actually know what they're doing. Because I feel like it might be a lot of like, you know, just regular people trying to mine that shit, and really just it's not even being worth it. What games have I been playing lately? Just League of Legends and Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Dragon Ball Fighter Z is really fun. Probably going to be streaming it a lot on Twitch. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that they just have video cards available that are just so powerful that they just outdo most processors, or maybe they just do it more efficiently. I'm not sure. What does mining cryptocurrency mean? Well, many of the cryptocurrency coins, such as Bitcoin, are created through mining, which is basically like you use a computer to solve. The way Bitcoin works, at least, is you use your computer's processor to solve like incredibly complex math problems, and every time the math problem is solved, another Bitcoin appears. That's just the method that the creators of Bitcoin used to control how many Bitcoin there are total. But as more Bitcoin get made, it becomes harder to make new ones. So you need more and more power to make them at such a rate that it's profitable. Most normal people can't do it profitably. Like your power bill would be way more than the amount of Bitcoin you'd be making. But that's basically what it is. And just replacing the computer itself, you know, the cost of that. So the only way it's profitable is that you're making more money than you spend on replacing the parts and buying the parts and buying the computer and your power bill. What do I think of H3H3? I mean, I'm generally a fan. I think they seem like good people. I don't always agree with them, but I don't think that they're intended to be a commentary channel, so I don't need them to share my worldview or anything. I think this mostly a comedy channel, and I think they're funny, so it works out. But they also they seem like genuinely good people, and so that's kind of like my main criteria for a person is just don't be an asshole. Just be a good person. You know, be responsible. Think about stuff before you do it. That sort of thing. Yeah, I did see that Hank Green video where they found a Bitcoin. I might have. I know I don't have a full Bitcoin, but I might have an old wallet somewhere with like a fraction of a Bitcoin, because I was sort of into it a few years ago, but I didn't buy any. I just sort of went on like Bitcoin fountain sites and just like. Actually, I think I may have gambled all of my Bitcoin away. But I own a little bit of cryptocurrency, just a little tiny bit. It's just kind of interesting just to be involved, just to see what's going to happen. Did you like when Logan Paul cured his color blindness with glasses? Yeah, I don't know about all that. I did see the H3 video about that. I think that the H3H3, sometimes I think that they're a little bit irresponsible with their platform, but I think most of the time they use their platform to sort of call out like sketchy, shady people. Like they don't just like randomly pick on people like some of these other like commentary channels. They'll just like find a random teenager on the internet with 100 subscribers and talk about how stupid they are. Like they don't do stuff like that usually. Usually they find a guy that's like a literal con artist, or like someone who's like faking videos on the internet for money, things like that. Or they target people who themselves have large audiences, so they can sort of have a buffer for, you know, potential dogpiling. But I can see how sometimes they could maybe think a little bit more about what they're doing. Are there any fail-proof investments you'd recommend? An IRA? And I guess not even that is fail-proof given the state of our fucking government. But no, I don't think there's any such thing as a fail-proof investment. But the best thing is just open a retirement account with your government. Or just a retirement account in general. Not necessarily with your government, but I think that crypto is going to continue to grow. It may be at the cost of fucking our environment, but hey, we've already been doing that anyway. But I couldn't tell you. And for example, the stock market grows, or smart like investment, like diverse investment in the stock market has been proven to continue to grow over time. If you're looking to sort of get rich overnight, there's just not a thing that's going to do that for you. You can go to the casino and try your luck. What's your opinion of the Tumblr community in general? Tumblr, I think Tumblr's calmed down a lot recently. Or it could be that I've just sort of filtered out all of the nonsense of my personal dashboard. But I think that I don't know. I think Tumblr, honestly, Tumblr has become one of the most pleasant social media sites to be at right now, which is funny because I wouldn't have said that like 3 or 4 years ago. Like it's still, still very social justicey, and I think they still sometimes are a little bit weird and take things too far, or they don't research things properly. But it's like I don't really come to expect much from social media, so it's just whatever. Yeah, don't mortgage your house to invest in crypto. Don't invest anything in a crypto that you can't afford to lose. I think investing in cryptocurrency is not unlike gambling. I don't think it's specifically gambling, but it's not unlike gambling, and you should consider it gambling. What are your thoughts on anti-capitalism? I mean, I think that it's very compelling and convincing because capitalism has resulted in a lot of bad stuff. I guess the part where I disagree is I think we should reform capitalism, not replace it. But overall, the main criticisms of our capitalist system are pretty spot on, I would say. But yeah, but like back in the day, talking about Tumblr, I used to be like so annoyed like every time I got on Tumblr. And this was back in the day when I used to be really keen on having arguments online. Like I used to do that a lot. I try not to do it at all now, unless it's like a very civil back and forth one-on-one conversation. But I tell people all the time I could have very easily become an anti-feminist or one of those shitlord type people. Like I could have been that guy, and Tumblr was a big part of it because I was on Tumblr a lot, and a lot of those people were just really insufferable, and they just took things too far, and they didn't think about context and things like that. And I got really frustrated with a lot of that stuff. But then I realized, Tumblr at the time at least it's like mostly like teenagers and like just people that don't know that much about what's going on, and it's sort of like this insular community that doesn't really interact with the outside internet that much. And when you step off Tumblr, you realize, oh, everybody doesn't act like this. This is just them. And then B, I realized that the anti-feminists, the people that were opposing them, are way worse, just way more insufferable, way more wrong about stuff. So it really brought me back down to earth. But I think they've really calmed down. I mean, maybe they've grown up or something. But when I go there now, it's usually fine. And honestly, it's more pleasant on Tumblr now than it is on Facebook and Twitter. Like, it's mostly just like memes. I mean, there's a lot of social justice stuff, but I think Tumblr still has some of the most like creative and clever people on the internet. Like the Tumblr memes are like A+ memes. Tumblr memes completely rock any other memes from any other site. Don't invest in pot markets in Canada. It's a total bubble. I didn't even know that was a thing you could do. Yeah, Tumblr humor is definitely on another level. Like some of the funniest shit I've ever seen has been from Tumblr. Some of the funniest shit that gets, like, I see so many like old Tumblr memes going viral on Facebook now. It's like, man, I saw that on Tumblr in 2013. What you talking about? Do you ever find yourself arguing with strangers on the internet as productive? It is rarely productive, which is why I don't do it at all anymore. Well, here's the thing about arguments in general, but especially arguments on the internet. They are almost never done in good faith, and they're never done with the goal of actually trying to come to some conclusion or some understanding, which should be the point of any discussion. So whenever someone indicates that they're trying to have a discussion or a debate with me, I have to like lay it down. Like, I'm not doing this unless you show me that this is a good faith discussion and that you're going to be civil. And that is almost never the case. But luckily for me, you usually can tell pretty early on that you're wasting your time, because they just come out the gate super douchey. And I'm like, okay, I'm done here. Thank you for showing me that you're an asshole, or you're going to be an asshole right now. But sometimes you get trolled. And I tend to fall for this a lot too. I fall for the faux civil devil's advocate concerned troll type person. So they come in like super polite and stuff, but as they go, you can tell that they're just antagonizing you and like fucking with you, kind of. And then they sort of like, it makes you look bad. This is another problem with like debating in public, like on public sites like Twitter and stuff, where other people can see it, because it makes you look bad because you're getting frustrated by this dude who's fucking with you, but they look like they're being civil. So it looks like you're the one that's being unreasonable. So I try to avoid it altogether. It might be a bubble. You might be able to make some quick money though. Do I have a lot of friends that I disagree with politically? Well, I don't think I've ever met a person that I 100% disagree with or 100% agree with on everything. I think most of the people that I call friends generally share my values, but yeah, we have political disagreements across the board. It just depends on the issue. But like, the people that I consider my friends are the people that sort of have similar values to me, but that doesn't necessarily mean we all have the same political views. Like, it's kind of too broad to say that you disagree with politically, because I disagree with probably everyone on something. Electro Main, thank you for the $5 super chat. What up, T1J? Would you be able to share some of the things that you are trying to do to get away from the YouTube grind? How is the creative process going? I'm sort of in a thinking mode right now. I'm not sure what I want to do. Like, I've been really thinking about starting a podcast, but I'm not exactly sure when or if I'm going to do that. I do know that I'm changing just my approach to YouTube. You guys that have been watching my videos can probably tell that they're a bit different so far. I'm going to do more. I want to do more sort of conversational, personal type stuff. Not like personal, but I don't want it. Like, for a while, I was like, I want my channel to be a show. Like, I want it to feel like a show where you just sort of watch an episode and that's cool. But for one, I just don't think I have the production value to do that properly. But B, I don't think that's what you're supposed to do on YouTube. That's like not what YouTube is for. YouTube is about connecting and engaging with an audience, and I just need to do that better. And so I'm just going to do that. So that's why I've been doing more sit down videos, or just sit down, look at the camera and talk to you guys and ask you questions and stuff like that. I'm going to do more videos where I like answer questions. I'm going to do more voicemails and stuff, because I think the voicemail was a pretty good addition, but it just kind of felt kind of weird just sort of tacking it on the end of a video. So I might just do whole videos where I respond to voicemails. I think these live streams are a good way to do that. But beyond YouTube, I have to think, like, I just want to do a lot of stuff. I want to blog more. Eventually I'd like to do a podcast. I just don't know what it would be about or what it would be like. I want to make music, look out for that. Yeah, I mean, debates are definitely generally about changing the minds of people listening, but for me personally, I don't think it's worth it, because it's frustrating to me and it makes me unhappy. So that's just my personal view. There are other people who have debates and do discussions all the time, and hopefully they achieve their goals by doing that. But for the sake of my own personal happiness, I just try to avoid it. And I try to share my ideas in my own way. Having discussions and debates is one way, but there are other ways to do it. Have you felt the need to change your content in order to conform to YouTube's new and ever-changing rules and regulations? Yeah, I mean, that's what I sort of did for the past year. And the results were sort of mixed. I guess overall it worked out, but it didn't work out as much as I wanted it to. And it's just kind of exhausting, and I'm just kind of not gonna do it anymore. So like for now, I've managed to build a decent audience on YouTube, and I'm just gonna try to focus on that audience. And if more people want to come and check it out, that's cool. But trying to keep up with every YouTube change in order to like get more subscribers and get more views and get the algorithm to suggest your videos, it's just exhausting. And it's like you don't get as much out of it as you put into it. So I'm just gonna try. I'm probably not gonna focus on that anymore. What is your understanding / thoughts on public relations and how it forms what the media covers? I don't know if I understand the question. Public relations with reference to what? Or to whom? To me? Like, how do you think the news gets its news? What? I don't get it. The news? How do you think like news companies and news media gets the news? What do you mean by that? Like I mean in theory it's just you just report on what happens in the world. Are you making the argument that they don't like I think news media reports on the things that they think will get people to watch. I think that's literally the number one thing that influences what news media reports. And sometimes it's like nonsense, but sometimes it's like really important, groundbreaking stuff. But sometimes it's, you know, sometimes it's unfortunate. I think they're wondering how PR firms affect the news. I guess I don't know enough about that to answer that. What kind of music are you interested in making? Well, a lot. I don't know how many people have been around long enough to know, but I make, well, I don't make, but I used to make a lot of hip hop music, and there are even some songs on my channel from way back in the day. And I just want to make some more. My brother is a producer. I'm going to try to get him to make some stuff with me. I did not see a debate with Jordan Peterson and Kathy Newman. Do some freestyle hip hop for us. Nah, probably not. I don't really freestyle. I think freestyling is something that only a very small number of people are good at. But I'm a writer, so it's just the point, like there's no point in freestyling because it's just going to be bad because I don't do things on the spot. I'm bad at that. Why should I take Jordan Peterson seriously? I don't know. The impression that I get from him is that you should rarely take him seriously. That's another reason why I don't do live debates, because I'm bad at doing stuff on the spot. I'm better at writing. I guess with at least like planned debates, you can sort of be prepared. Who are some of my favorite singers or rappers, like, of all time? My favorite rapper of all time is Andre 3000 of Outkast. I don't follow music that closely. I just sort of hear what I hear. I like Earl Sweatshirt. I like Lord. I like Kendrick Lamar. Jordan Peterson likes to talk about things other than the thing that he studies. That's the problem. If he only talked about the things at which he's an expert, then that'd be fine. But he doesn't do that. If Destiny ever invited you on his channel for a debate, would you? I don't think I would debate because I don't like debating. But there's probably nothing that we disagree on strong enough to even have a useful debate. If he wanted to just chat, I'd be down for that. Why do you get the same trolls every week? Yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about it. I was like, I literally like clicked the thing because the dude comes in and trolls like every week, and it's like, it's not. I don't know. That's what I'm talking about. Before, where it's like these like trolls that are not necessarily being assholes, but they're clearly fucking with you. So it makes you look bad when you react. That's exactly what I'm talking about. He's economically to the right of a lot of people he agrees with socially. Well, that's the thing. So am I. And I think that a lot of people don't recognize. But something like minimum wage increases could be something we could talk about. I'm not sure his exact. Like, I know that he's like strongly pro capitalism, but I feel like he would still support regulatory capitalism, which is what I support. But he probably doesn't to the same degree that I do. But like, for example, if he outright opposes minimum wage increases, then yeah, that's something we disagree about. I just don't know if we disagree enough to make a useful debate. Like we might be like, I feel like it would take like sort of 15, 20 minutes before we got to sort of the fundamental disagreement where it's like, okay, so that's the part where where we disagree and we can't get any further. And also because we aren't antagonistic toward each other would probably make the debate a lot less interesting too. Do I have any pets? I don't. Sometimes I've been thinking like maybe I need to get like a cat or something. Even though I hate cats, I just like, I'm like I was talking about earlier. I don't know if you guys are here, but I was talking about how I'm bad at like I need to do more things alone. Like I go out too much. I'm like too social. A lot of people say that they need to be more social. I'm too social. So it's like maybe it would help if I had like a little animal companion. I can't really afford to take care of a dog, but maybe I could have a cat or something, or like a hamster, just chilling. But cats are like, I don't like cats. Maybe I could find a cool one. Like a lot of people have social anxiety and they get like really nervous about the prospect of engaging with other people. I have the opposite problem. Like I get really restless and anxious when I'm alone. That's weird. Like when I'm over here, the auto white balance changes. And then when I'm over here, it goes back. All right. Okay. Yeah, I was literally just about to I was about to do that, mad scientist. um Electric Low Main, thank you for the $2. How do you think our immigration system should be handled? Well, I'm definitely not smart enough to answer that, but definitely legal immigration just needs to be easier. It's like almost impossible to legally immigrate to America unless, well, if you are from certain countries. And it's very hard to become a citizen if you are an immigrant living in the country. Beyond like being sponsored by a family member who's a citizen or like a spouse who's a citizen. So that just needs to be made easier. I don't know the best way to do it, but you know, I think we could easily fix that, but I think there's just a tinge of, not a tinge, but like a literally deep-seated xenophobia and racism in the country that's preventing, you know, people like the idea of keeping immigrants out, and that's why they're so opposed to making it easier for people to become citizens. But yeah, that needs to be, and it's interesting to me because I don't have like personal experience, but I know there are people very close to me who have dealt with or are currently dealing with the immigration system in America. So I know for a fact that it's just convoluted nonsense. It's just awful. And it's like impossible. Like, you know, for some people, it's literally, you know, you have to try. It's like almost like trying to win the lottery. But yeah, I'm still on this sort of I'm on this kick where I don't want I don't want it to seem like you can't come in the chat and say things that people disagree with. Like that's not the idea. So I'm always hesitant. But it's like when you're just trolling, it's like you're offering nothing to anybody. Like you're literally just pissing everybody off. You're just being antagonistic. You're being a dick. But maybe I just need to be more. I need to crack down on that because on my YouTube channel, I like delete like rude comments now. Like I don't even think twice about it. Like I'm sort of over this whole thing. Like this, like I used to think of my YouTube channel as sort of like me like standing in the public square, like giving my speech, and basically whoever wanted to wander by and comment and say whatever is fine. That's how I used to think about it. But now I think more like the way that Hank Green put it. He thinks of it as his house and he gets to control the rules of his house. And if someone comes in his house and starts screaming, then he has the right to kick them out of his house. And I kind of feel that now. Do you support a primarily skills-based immigration system? Not really. I just don't care. I think if you want to move to a country, you should be able to move there, regardless of what your skills are. Have you grown frustrated with relying on YouTube or these platforms in general? Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's a thing that we kind of knew and should have known. Is like we shouldn't be relying on these platforms. Um, and that's just something that we need to own up to. Like these platforms could disappear overnight. YouTube could make a bad investment and just crash in a month. You know, it's possible. Or YouTube could decide one day, hey, we're just not going to share money with you guys anymore. Same thing with Patreon. Patreon is just another platform. Patreon could, their investors could all pull out and they could be like, okay, guys, we can't afford to pay you guys anymore. So we're shutting down. That could happen literally in a week. So we can't rely on platforms. What we can rely on to some extent is our audience. So I've managed to build a not insignificant audience, and I imagine that as long as I have the internet, I'll find a way to engage with that audience. And if you have a certain number of people, it's there's ways to monetize it if what you're trying to do is make a living or at least supplement your income. But even if I can't monetize it, that's fine, you know. But there's ways to monetize an audience if you have it. And usually platforms get replaced by other platforms. So that, that's the benefit of the internet is there's always going to be some person that wants to help or that wants to make their situation better, and by proxy it makes everyone else's situation better. But if all else fails, I'll just send you guys to theonejanitor.com and you can watch my videos or read my content or listen to a podcast there. And you guys can donate if you want to. You can buy merch if you want to. Like there's always the main thing is having that audience, and YouTube is the reason I have that audience. So I can't I can't hate on YouTube. Like YouTube is amazing and it allows me and other people to attempt their dreams, so I can't hate on YouTube. But if YouTube crashes or if YouTube changes their policy to something that's completely unsustainable, which they kind of already have for me, there's other things to do for sure. Honestly, if I could get everybody to just go to my website, I'd probably do that. But it'd just be really hard to do right now. But yeah, that's a lesson that I think a lot of creators have learned if and are learning if they haven't learned it already is never rely on a single platform. Never rely on a platform to be like in general. Like use the platforms if they're there for you, then use them, but don't rely on them. Always have a plan, have a backup plan. And I'm still sort of figuring everything out. There's still more that I need to do myself, but that's a big part of it. Do I see that as losing some freedom of speech? Do I see what as losing some freedom of speech? A platform shutting down? You don't lose your freedom of speech. The thing about it is freedom of speech does not mean that you have a right to a platform. I think that a lot of people get that mixed up. Just because you have the freedom to say something doesn't mean that people have to listen to it or that people have to give you a way to say it. I do think that within a platform sort of controls what voices and what kind of content gets promoted and made and incentivized. And I think that's important. You know, for example, like YouTube has demonetized certain types of content, which in effect disincentivizes people from making that kind of content, which diminishes those kinds of voices and, you know, makes it less likely for those stories and that kind of content to be made and to succeed. And I think that's a form of censorship within YouTube, not like worldwide, because you can just go on a different platform or whatever. But within YouTube, I think that's an interesting argument. And I actually made a video about that. And essentially, YouTube has literally disincentivized people from making certain types of content. And, you know, that's unfortunate because YouTube is one of the biggest platforms around. But it doesn't mean you've lost your freedom to say stuff. You just got to say it somewhere else. It's kind of a kind of slow chat today. It's always weird. Like I generally stream around the same time and same day every week, but it just varies how many people come, and I don't know if it's a different number of people are seeing it, or if it's just people just don't want to come on certain weeks. Because I think last week I had like 70, 80 people at one point. And then I had a week where I had over 100 people. But right now it's only like 20 or so. Which is fine, you know. You don't have to come if you don't want. My favorite rapper of all time is Andre 3000 of Outkast. Yeah, it does fluctuate. I'm not really sure. Like, I want to blame YouTube, but who knows? It may not be YouTube's fault. Who are your favorite YouTubers? Well, my favorite YouTube channel of all time is Vlogbrothers. And that's just been my favorite, probably always will be. It's been my favorite since like 2010. And it's also really like inspirational channel for my content, and it's like motivated me, and I've taken a lot of things from the way that they make videos. But you know, I could go on for like an hour naming my favorite channels. I like Swoozy, I like Community Channel, I like Anna Akana, I like Minute Physics, I like Numberphile, I like Vsauce, I like Charlie McDonald, I like Jenna Marbles, yeah, I could just keep going. I like ContraPoints. I like Lindsay Ellis. I work on Sunday, so it's entirely based on how busy I am. That's cool. I mean, you guys don't have to like explain it. It's just random. I do like CGP Grey. How did I like this Sasha Banks Hot Ones episode? It was good. I'm a huge fan of Sasha Banks. I'm like in love with her. I have like a high school crush on her. I want a Sundae. Maybe I'll stop and get one after I work out. Yeah, community channel. Like sometimes community channel will. Sometimes she'll make like. She'll make a video every week for 3 months, and then she'll like just stop for the next 2 years. Yeah, see, I don't watch movies or TV that much. Like I said earlier, I watched maybe 3 or 4 movies last year, and I don't watch TV much at all. But I watch YouTube nonstop all the time. I've been watching a lot of gaming content recently, but I still like sort of the standard YouTube stuff. Captain Disillusion, yeah, I forgot about that. That channel's amazing. But that's also a channel that posts very infrequently, like roughly once a month. I watched ContraPoints and then I pretty much stopped watching anti-SJW people. Well, that's good. Cause I wouldn't recommend people watch them, but so that's a point for ContraPoints. ContraPoints videos are just on another level. It's pretty ridiculous. Yeah, Sean's good. I think once ContraPoints and Sean and people like that come up, I think you're going to see sort of a renaissance for progressive stuff on YouTube. They're still sort of under the radar. There's some people like, like H Bomber guy's coming up. Like he's like almost 200,000 subscribers now, I think. If he hasn't passed it yet, it might be there. But the next likely candidates, it's definitely ContraPoints. ContraPoints is definitely going to pass 100,000 subscribers, and Sean will probably too eventually. So once they come up, I think the people are gonna want to see more, and I think that's gonna help a lot of the smaller people coming up. It's pretty interesting to see the rise and fall of the Amazing Atheist, because I, like many of my contemporaries, sort of grew up watching him and being like really big fans of him, and then it just went downhill. Do I watch Game Theory? I do watch Game Theory. I like Philip DeFranco as well. Yeah, Sean is doing his thing. And I think the thing that both ContraPoints and Sean do well that I've failed at, or not failed, but not as good at, is making content for their subscribers. Like I tried so hard to make content for YouTube and for the YouTube algorithm, and I think that's part of the reason why I couldn't really catch up. And there's other reasons, like I'm sort of an old school guy, and I got most of my subscribers like in 2013, and most of those people are inactive. But being able to engage your actual viewers and talk to them personally and develop a personal connection to them is like it's a really effective way to grow on YouTube. And I think that both Sean and Contra are really good at that. And even I think H Bomber guy as well. On YouTube, the progressive content on YouTube is a lot better. On other, like on Twitter, progressives on Twitter can be pretty annoying and almost as bad as the antis. But on YouTube, it's definitely a stark contrast. Yeah, I've actually gotten really into David Pakman recently. I haven't watched that much secular talk. They have like this, you know, those are like progressive news channels basically, and that's cool. But I think people like the essay type stuff, and also sort of the just sort of the commentary type stuff. And I know that they do that too, but I think there's a more focused on news. Meanwhile, like ContraPoints is talking about, you know, writing essays about how to spot a white nationalist and stuff like that. Like it's just a different, style. But I think it's on the come up. Would I join a cult that worships ContraPoints? Well, I guess if you're gonna worship anyone, you might as well worship Contra. Do I meditate? I do sometimes. Sometimes I'm really good about it, but then sometimes I don't. Like I'll meditate like every day for a month, and then I'll just stop for a week. But yeah, in general, I guess the answer is yes. What's my favorite drink? It kind of depends on my mood, but either water, Diet Coke, or beer. Oh, the golden one. What a person. That is a human cartoon character. But I guess that's why, he's found an audience, because he's definitely an interesting guy. If YouTube has taught me anything, it has taught me that there's an audience for literally everything. Even like fucking muscle bound Nazis who think that they're Vikings. Do you have another job as well as YouTube? Well, no. Well, my job is, I guess YouTube is the main thing I do, but my job is internet guy. And I guess the main thing I do is make videos, but I do other things as well. But they're all related to my presence on the internet. I probably should have another job, to be honest, but this kind of takes up a lot of time, so it's kind of hard to have another job. Also, I don't want another job. That's probably the main reason. I'm really bad at jobs, and I kind of like disagree with most jobs fundamentally. But if I found something that was like cool and like didn't make me want to jump off a cliff, I'd probably do it. Sometimes I do odd jobs. Like I have a couple of friends. Like I have a friend who is an electrician, and I have a friend who does like home remodeling and stuff like that. And sometimes they need an extra hand on their jobs that they're doing. and I'll help them every now and then. What were you doing before being a full-time internet person? I've had a variety of jobs. The last job that I had was I worked in customer service for YMCA's. It's kind of a weird job, but basically I just did customer service for like a region of YMCA's. So it was it wasn't just one, it was like a bunch of them. Did you have a routine meditating? Yes, I always do it first thing in the morning. I think it's better to do it before you get your day started. I just like wake up and do it before I do anything. Before I even like take a piss or anything. CM Punk is going over, right? I wish. Do I play Madden? I haven't played Madden in years. I would though if I had it. Would I ever want to be a janitor? Maybe. I guess it depends on the situation. It doesn't seem like that bad a job. They just usually don't pay well. But, you know, cleaning stuff, that's pretty easy. Seems pretty chill. Probably gross sometimes, but I can deal with that. Did you once say your name meant you was cleaning up the internet? I may have said that, but I was probably joking. Or I was being like sort of tongue in cheek. Some people have ascribed that to the name. That's what some people think of when they hear the one janitor or the janitor. But that's definitely not why I came up with it. I'm gonna sneeze again. Fuck, why am I sneezing? Do I like Harry Potter? I'm still reading the third book. It's fine. So far, at least. I don't like the character Harry Potter. I think he's a brat. At least he is so far. But, as many of you know, I have this series where I'm like reacting to the book and making videos about it. And I haven't made a entry in that series in maybe like a year now. But I do plan to continue the series. So keep an eye out for that. I've been playing the recent Deus Ex game, and it makes me think, is there really some Illuminati type organization controlling world events and access to info? Well, the rich people have rich people and corporations, billionaires, they have a disproportionate amount of power and control over the world, but probably not to the extent that is found in media like Deus Ex. My fellow loud sneezer. Yeah, I don't have to sneeze loud, but it kind of hurts when I do it silently. So I don't. Do you think pickup tricks actually work? Yeah, they definitely work. They're kind of manipulative though. That's the thing about manipulating people. You can get people to do stuff, but it's manipulation. Like manipulation works, sure. But also some pickup tricks are legit good advice. And I've made a video about this too, actually. It's called The Downfall of Pickup. You guys should watch it. But there are a lot of things that they're maybe like they're not counterintuitive, but they're not especially intuitive. For example, like if you go up to a person and you're like really over complimentary, you would think that that would be a good strategy, but it isn't. So you have to think, well, then what am I supposed to do? It's just stuff like that. One day you'll want to adopt a pet. I don't know. Maybe. Like I was saying earlier, maybe I should like get a cat or something just so I'll be less lonely. $40-man Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns is 27, and when Divas Royal Rumble is 20, Divas win Charlotte Flair. Roosh V is my hero. I really hope that's a joke. What do you think your reaction would be if actual aliens came to visit formally and publicly? I don't know. Humans are pretty trash, so I would hope that the aliens would be able to see the good side. The good side of humans. T1J, does it offend you when people assume things of you based on your race, like being good at basketball or rapping? You know, stereotypes. I guess that's pretty annoying. I try not to like waste too much time being angry at other people's nonsense because it's just like a waste of energy. But that is pretty obnoxious. But a lot of the times stereotypes are like based on cultural things. Like basketball and hip hop music are popular in the black community. Like no one can deny that. But you know, that still doesn't make it okay to just assume that every black person is good at basketball. I like basketball. I'm not good at it though, I would say. I'm pretty good at rapping though. I'm down with the Nia Jax push. I don't know if I want a big dog, but maybe. I think I would get like a medium-sized dog. But the thing is, I don't want to deal with a puppy. I don't want to have to go through the process of training a dog. I just want it to just come trained. Can I do that? I honestly haven't been keeping up with wrestling for real. But it seems very unlikely that CM Punk came back. But again, that's another thing that I could get into, because I'm trying to find more things to do when I'm alone, because I just get like bored and restless when I'm alone, and that's why I like go out so much, so I can just watch more wrestling. Dusty Rhodes is a legend. Let's get a cat or a guinea pig. Maybe. I want to get a pig, but I heard that they get too big sometimes and you can't really guess how big they're gonna get. Can I get your thoughts on the sudden rise in far-right extremism and the tacit support it gets from many centrists? I don't know. There's a lot to say of it. Probably not. I probably won't think of everything that needs to be said about it. But I think that there's just been a trend of anti-progressivism that's just been ramping up and up and up. And the rise of Trump has sort of emboldened people to be more public about these sort of extreme ideas. And certain people are sort of more easily swayed when they already sort of believe conservative things that haven't been challenged sufficiently. But I think the root of it is sort of the rise of anti-progressivism. So it's just a knee-jerk reaction to the world being more progressive, and this happens every time there's sort of a progressive movement in the world. You know, during the civil rights movement, during women's suffrage, there's always like a strong reaction. And I think even Trump winning was as at least in part, if not majorly, a reaction to this rise of progressive thought. And the centrists they're just another cog in that sort of whole system, because they don't like they know the progressives are right, but they don't like the fact that they're so loud about it. And so they play devil's advocate just to almost just to troll the progressives. But they literally are referred to as useful idiots by the far right extremists. Like, they literally use that term, useful idiots, because they give them the platform and they make their arguments for them in many ways. Yeah, I should watch Lucha Underground. Do you think America could ever regress back to the 50s and 60s socially? Probably not. There are more people in the world who don't buy into that sort of thing than there are who do. Or in the United States, I should say. Probably in the world. But they're just not in power, so it looks really bad. Are you asking if the Royal Rumble is going to be on the WWE YouTube channel, like live on there? Because it probably won't be. The pre-show probably will be, though. Right-wing politics is definitely not the new counterculture. It's not even close. Just look at the government. The problem is basic decency gets categorized as left-wing. You know, thinking that people should be equal is not a left-wing thing. That's a decent human being thing, you know? It's not a radical position to take, just to say, hey, a human being should probably have control over their own body. The fact that that's considered a left leaning idea is absurd. And I think that's why there's this whole idea that the liberal media, it's like, oh yeah, telling the truth and being fair to people is liberal now. I don't know enough about economics to identify what the best system would be. I I think that my economic views are described as social democrat, or at least that's what people tell me. And there are many countries that have something similar to that, as far as I can tell. No, conservatives literally run all three branches of government. There's no way that conservatism is counterculture. It doesn't make sense at all. They literally run the world. How can you be counterculture if you're literally in charge of everything? It's just incoherent. My first act of president as president, I don't know. It would probably be to increase social safety nets by a large degree, or to increase uh, not necessarily social safety nets, but just to do something that would eliminate or reduce poverty by a large amount. How am I liking the new place? It's cool. It's pretty cozy apartment. Is there a Republican that I like? Yeah, there's plenty of Republicans that seem like they're decent people. I think that their whole worldview and policy positions are completely ridiculous, but there's lots of Republicans that are decent people. Can you honestly say that conservative views are the mainstream in my culture? Only if you think that basic decency is a liberal view. I don't think of it like that because that's ridiculous. But no, conservative views like personal independence, capitalism, those are the mainstream things in our culture right now. If you think that all people should be equal and be treated equally as a liberal view, then yeah, you're right. But I think that's just being not an asshole. I don't think that's a liberal view. Like if you compare the overall mindset of Americans to almost any other developed country, you'll see what a really left leaning country is like. This sort of individualism, capitalism, pro corporation, pro company, pro business. That's America. That's the prevailing view in America. And that's, to me, that sounds right wing. If anything, it's center to center right. But like I said, I think why people say that is because they think that being a basic human who believes in facts is like left wing. So like if you say climate change is real, it's like, oh, that's liberals. It's like, no, that's just a fact. It's like an actual fact. Or if you say, hey, gay people should have the same rights as straight people, oh, you're a liberal. It's like, no, that's just being a good person. My bad. So I'm probably gonna stream for about 20 more minutes because I've got to planning to go work out, and I want to do so before it gets too late. Trans people have been getting it really bad. Yeah, it's like socially acceptable to be transphobic, and we're saying that liberal culture runs everything. Like, no, sir. What's my workout plan today? Today is B day, so squats, overhead press. I think we're gonna just do like these inverted pull-ups. Maybe we'll do bent over rows, but none of us really like doing bent over rows. I wonder if I think Britain or maybe the UK in general is maybe as center to center right as the United States, if not more. You like the new logo? Appreciate it. I think you're the first person to comment on it. I just kind of like silently changed it and didn't make any comment about it. But I like it too. You can get it on a t-shirt if you want. The onejanet.com/store. What is going on in this chat right now? Well, it's actually it's like sort of inspired by a mixture of like Greek and Asian lettering. That was sort of the idea of it. I wasn't sure. I did a little bit of research. I didn't want it to like specifically look like an actual word or an actual character, but maybe it does. There's hundreds of characters, if not thousands, across languages. So who knows? Just don't engage the troll, please. Just like, can you like just ban someone from the chat, or do you have to time them out? He comes in trolls like almost every week. And he's so devoted that he's literally gonna come back in 5 minutes and do it again. Like, he already got timed out, and he literally just, I think almost the instant that it was up, he came back. But yeah, Pookie, please don't engage the troll, like, because it borderline becomes you trolling too, and it just makes it makes the chat ugly. And that's the main thing I want to avoid, is making the chat not unsuitable or not unenjoyable for people. And if you're contributing to that, you're being just as bad. And it's, you know, like I said, this guy he comes like every week, so it's not like this is new to him. Like he knows exactly what he's doing. It's weird that like there's that it is a thing that people follow you just to fuck with you and just to troll you and just to disagree with you. Like that's so random that people do that. Put user in timeout. Hi, report. Yeah, I don't know. I guess not. You used to could be able to ban people. Because I remember one time there was this guy, or I don't know if it was a guy, but it was a person that was trolling the chat, and they literally kept making new accounts to come back and troll. Do you have the option to hide the user? I think that just shadow bans them where no one can see what they write, which is, you know, good enough. Yeah, I'm just wondering, like I can just imagine someone just being like 60, 70 years old, just like thinking about their life and like what they contributed to society. And it's like, wow, I spent a good like 5 years just fucking with people on the internet. I'm really proud of myself. I'm really happy that I used my time to do that. You can just try that. I don't know. Honestly, like, it's whatever. Like, I'm not, the thing that I'm most worried about is the chat being enjoyable for you guys. Like, I can handle it. Like, it's not that, like, I'm really good at ignoring people. But if it's just like fucking up the chat for people, then I'm not, I don't want that to happen. But yeah, politics is very tiring, and I've that's why I don't really get involved in the political conversation on YouTube anymore or social media. I just talk about the things that are interesting to me. And I spend a lot of time doing other things than talking about politics, you know? Like I don't watch that many political channels on YouTube anymore. Like I watch shit like Jenna Marbles and video gamers. Like that's the type of stuff that I watch. So I definitely don't consume my whole life with politics, for sure. Like back when I was on social media all the time, when I checked my Twitter mentions every 5 seconds, when I looked at my YouTube comments, it's really easy to get really caught up with it. But I just don't do it that much anymore. Let Your Love Main, thank you for the $2. I'm out. T1J, you should do another walking vlog. Maybe I will. I don't walk that much anywhere. Like there's nowhere for me to walk to nearby, but I guess I can like walk around my apartment complex or something. I did the walking vlog before because there was a store down the street from where I was living at the time. But I don't know. Maybe I'll do it. But yeah, thanks for coming to the stream and thank you for the super chats as always. Electric Lil Main is easily the top super chatter. He's a big supporter of the chat and the channel, so I appreciate that a lot. All right, we're gonna stream for about 5-10 minutes, guys. So maybe like one last question or comment if you have it. Thank you guys for coming to the stream as always. Politics can be mentally draining, especially when you realize some of the fucked up views still hold today. Yeah, the thing about politics is that politics is important. And that's why, like, if it wasn't important, I would probably just completely ignore it and just completely remove it from my life. But it's important. I think it's important to stay informed and to know what's going on and to think about what's going on. But it's definitely a shit show at the same time. Like, it's definitely annoying, and there's a lot of frustrating people, and it's very, it often doesn't make me very happy. So I have to definitely limit how much I engage with it, and I have to find other things to do that actually make me happy. Well, yeah. I don't know. People, the analyzer, people sometimes call me smart. And if I am smart, the reason that I appear smart is because I don't talk about stuff that I don't know about. That's the easiest. That's a little life hack for you. If you want to look smart, just avoid talking about things that you don't know anything about. Because I think that's a problem that a lot of people have. And it's a really good way to make yourself look dumb. You may look smart to people that know even less than you, but to everyone else, you just look like an idiot. But, I don't have anything to prove. I never once said or wanted to come off like I was an expert on anything, or that I was some kind of well-educated person on topics. I'm just a dude that wants to have conversations about things, and I try to stay informed about stuff. And I talk about, if I'm talking about something, it's usually because I've thought about it a lot or I've researched it a lot. Otherwise, I probably won't be talking about it. Biggie Smalls or Tupac? Definitely Biggie. No contest. No question. Which character of Contra do you like? I don't know. Does the professor, is it a professor? The scientist character? I just like the way that character looks. I like Abigail Cockbane as well. She's funny. I could see why someone might like Tupac better, but I like Biggie better by far. I like her characters because she's found a good way to make the characters like both really relatable, but also like really like non-relatable at the same time. Like most of the characters, not all of them, but most of them, you kind of agree with them on a lot of stuff, but then they all have this like side to them that's just like, okay, you need to calm down. But I think that's on purpose. Because like even even Abigail sometimes says things that it's like, well, I agree with that, but then you find out it's like, well, she's also like a crazy person. So we're gonna start winding down. I think the chat was a little bit slow in the middle there, but I think it picked up, and we got a few new people in there. I think if you don't know, I stream every Sunday, or at least I try to stream every Sunday around 1 p.m. Central Time, which is 2 hours before the current time. And I stream usually for about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. You're the most calm person on YouTube. Well, that's cool. I'm a pretty calm person. That's probably why I'm not that successful on YouTube, though. I think you have to like scream a lot to be a successful YouTuber. If you have social media, consider following me. That's a good way to keep up with me. What is success? That's a deep question. I guess when I said successful, I meant successful enough to where the channel continues to grow and continues to be sustainable, because that's not happening. But that's not the ultimate definition of success. The very fact that I even get to be a YouTuber is a pretty big win for me. So I don't know anything at all about the Northern Ireland situation, so I have nothing to say about that. But if you guys want to help me be more sustainable, you can consider becoming a patron on Patreon, patreon.com/the1janitor. That's the main way that I've been able to continue doing what I'm doing. So if you enjoy the chat, or if you enjoy the videos, if you enjoy the live streams, that's one way that you can help make it sustainable. Even $1 a month goes a long way. So consider that. You can also check out my merch store. I got t-shirts, theonejanitor.com/store. Another way that you can help me out is if you plan to do any shopping on Amazon, you can use my link, theonejanitor.com/Amazon. And it'll just take you to the website, amazon.com, and you can do your shopping as normal. But if you use my link, it just give me a little cut of the purchase. And if you weren't planning on doing some shopping on Amazon, maybe consider it. What are your thoughts on authoritarian socialism versus democratic socialism? I'm not good with the labels. Like, I don't know what any of the terms mean. You just have to describe it to me, and I can tell you what I think about them. But like, there's so many different political labels And I also feel like people mean different things when they say labels, or sometimes people will say two different terms but mean the same thing. So I just never been very good at understanding the different terms. So you just have to describe what you mean. But I probably may not have enough time left to even talk about something like that. What's the quality you look for in a friend? Well, the number one quality I look for in any person, but especially a friend, is just kindness and compassion for other human beings. Yeah, authoritarian socialism sounds like it would be communism. I'm not sure. Okay, well that makes sense. Well, the thing is, democratic socialism doesn't sound possible, and authoritarian socialism is way too easy to corrupt and is corruptible. And if it does get corrupted, it ends up being really, really bad, as we've seen. Democratic socialism, it seems like a decent idea. I don't necessarily agree with worker ownership of the means of production, and I like markets, and I like competition between markets, and I like sort of merit-based profit, I guess. But that's just sort of my beef with socialism as a whole, and not just that form of socialism. But we'll probably have to pick this up next time. If you'd like to ask me more in-depth question, feel free to email me at hello@theonejanitor.com. I always like to get emails from viewers. Should have a new video coming soon. I may be streaming on Twitch later today, because I want to stream some Dragon Ball Fighter Z. So if you're into that, you can keep an eye out for that. Follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/theonejanitor. Yeah, CGP Gray's video is pretty good on that. I feel that, Emperor. I don't think it's irrational to, have discretion with what labels you use, but I also don't fault anyone that wants to identify with the label if that's how they feel, But I think I'm going to go, guys. Thank you once again for coming to the stream. I should be back next Sunday. I should have a video coming in a couple days. And I guess that's it. Bye.